One day I'm gonna have a screen where you can see me bopping back there. What are we pausing at now? We can't bop. We can't bop the music now, bruh. Oh my gosh. I hate y'all generation so bad. You're right, Toxic. You're right. Focus on this Wi-Fi. My bad, y'all. I had to get some coffee, man. The water wasn't doing enough for me. Nah, the Michael Gallup pause was crazy, though. I'll give y'all that. Sometimes you just gotta own up to your L, man. Like the Cowboys against the Cardinals. Gotta own up to it.
Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, the Skywalker Show, streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom! It don't take me long, bro. It don't take me long to get over stuff like that and move forward. And today, we are moving forward a little bit here and examining why and finding out reasons and solutions to the Cowboys' red zone situation. We're going to hit the film room. We're going to hit the lab, take a look at strictly red zone. What went wrong down there, right? And before all that, though, we'll hit the roundup today. We do have a roundup. We got an update on, not really an update, but sort of the pending status of the 3 offensive linemen now were out and the possibility of them playing on Sunday, as well as some history was made in Arizona. Not a whole lot, but there was some history that was made. Good history, by the way. What's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Stop! Man, y'all be killing me. Cardinals, bro, come on. Don't do that. Let me get this out of the way. The mic actually matches the hoodie. I just realized that. Don't do me like that, bro. The Cardinals, okay? It's all about the Legion of Boom, man. All about the Legion of Boom. See, look, Trey Fargo said it's too soon. Rolo saying I wore the cut. All right, you're right. I didn't even think about that. I just thought, hey, it's a good time to break out, the hoodie. I'm a hoodie guy. I love the fall. I'm from PA. Fall's my favorite season. You could bring out the butters. I don't know how many people still wear the fields. That was a thing back in the day. I mean, maybe they do in New York, but I'm a Butters guy. To bring out the Butters, bring out the hoodies, and I'm going to start, racking up my collection on that. Shouts out to you, Matisse. She said LOD, Legion of Doom. And honestly, one of the main reasons why I wore this is because I feel like the Cowboys, I'm going to do my part in giving them some type of momentum in regards to the unseen, right? Cowboys were playing like the Legion of Doom, Legion of Boom defense, whatever you want to call it, for the first 2 weeks, and then it just went away. It just went away in week 3. Hopefully that comes back. We understand they were dealing with things, but hey, it happens. You're not always going to be historic. We know you ain't going to win all the time, 40-0 and 30-10 and things like that. So I'm not panicking. However, many are. Again, I said this on Vacha's show. One of the things that I've learned in doing this is I've been able to handle losses a lot better over the years because I almost have to. I can't come on here and for 5 straight days whine and cry and moan about the previous loss. I got to talk about it, react to it, obviously have my emotions to it, examine it, figure out what happened and how we can correct it, and then move on forward to the next opponent. But a lot of Cowboys Nation, man, the first bit of adversity, they're gone. They're jumping off the roof, fire everybody. This sucks. You suck. We ain't doing nothing. It's like, yo, how are you a Cowboy fan? Like somebody has a status on Twitter, and they're like, you're not built to be a Cowboy fan. And they kind of go in depth on it. And I'm like, you know what? That's kind of true. If you jump ship from the first signs of adversity, are you really like? How can you be here? Why not just wait until at that moment that the Cowboys hoist the Lombardi, then come on back and act like you've been through the process or whatnot? But it's one thing to have the emotions of a loss, or sometimes even a win. You get people that whine and cry about a win. But in a loss, it's another thing. In week 3, by the way, to say that this season is over and done with. Last year, the Cowboys dealt with way worse adversity, and got out to a 4-1 start, ultimately finished 12-5 and won a playoff game. 2 years ago, they also lost on the road at the beginning of the season, won 12-5 and hosted a playoff game. That's RELAX, relax. Let's relax. One thing that Coach McCarthy said yesterday that I didn't even really think about because we're so focused on what happened. He said, man, look, last year we were one of the worst red zone and third down teams for the first 6-7 games of the year. One of the worst. Finished one of the best in both of those departments. So it's about examining. I think he called it, and I might get this wrong. Somebody help me out. Something about education and examination, something like along those lines. Essentially saying, it's about educating yourself about it, applying it, and then basically learning from it. And that's what you got to do. It's a fluid NFL. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. It's really about how you bounce back from those lows and how you maintain the success when you are high. And I ain't talking about because I got high. I'm talking about when you're winning. So let's just relax, figure out what we can do, where we can be better at. And as fans, if you're ready to jump ship, hey, I'll see you in the playoffs. That's how I feel, man. That's how I feel. Look, man. And Anderson's worried about losing to one of the worst teams with the Super Bowl defense is more than just adversity. No, it is just that, adversity. Anderson, if it bugs you so much that you lost to a team in week 3, that you're done with the Cowboys, you don't want to watch them anymore, or this team sucks and all that stuff, Anderson, we'll see you in the playoffs. You ain't ready to go along for this ride, man. You're going to lose games. Good teams are going to lose to bad teams. It happens every single year. Every year. You got to have some understanding, man, or you just not really ready for this ride. When that time comes, you're going to miss out. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get to the roundup, and then we're going to talk about this red zone. At first, we're going to jump into Sky Optics, then we're going to talk about this red zone.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
What's the saying? Only the strong survive. You got to be strong if you coming back. Got to be strong. All right, so Coach McCarthy and we'll hear from McCarthy and Schottenheimer a little later. But Coach McCarthy and Jerry Jones, or Stephen Jones, I'm sorry, spoke about the status of the starting offensive line, essentially. Zack Martin, Tyron Smith, and Tyler Biadasz. Stephen Jones went on 105.3 and said, Stephen was asked about it, and he basically said, yeah, it's possible for sure in regards to them playing, but we'll know more as the week progresses. And McCarthy pretty much said the same thing, except for he was straight to the point. Listen, man, we're not going to put a designation on any of these players until Wednesday's practice. So there will be nothing going on yesterday, nothing going on today. And then tomorrow they'll have their first practice. We'll speak with Pat on Thursday about what he saw out there at practice. But right now, still up in the air. If I had to look, hey, Scott, what do you think on Tuesday? What do you think? I'll say this. You could have probably played Tyron, and you could have probably played Zack. Biadasz is different. He messed up his hammy late in the week last week. So I think if those guys were close to playing, they will play. But that's just me taking a guess with no evidence of anything. We'll know more tomorrow. If there's a DNP Wednesday, Thursday for these guys, but Friday they're limited, that's a status that I think is encouraging. If it's DNP all week and then they talk about on Saturday they didn't participate in a walkthrough or the ramp up, then that's discouraging. But these are two guys that at this point, right? At this point with injuries in practice, shit, don't practice. Hey, Tyron Smith, Biadasz, Diggs, earlier, now it's training camp, but Donald, all these guys have been injured at practice. Weird, man. Shouts out to Brandon Aubry. Brandon Aubry, when he was in competition with, Vizcaino, that's his name. When he was in competition with Vizcaino, it's strange how this happens. They were awful. They were terrible. They were bad down there at camp, and then obviously in preseason, it didn't start off good either. Then they cut Vizcaino. And ever since, Brandon Aubry has been nails. Started off weird, missed the extra point in New York, but he hadn't missed anything since then. He made history on Sunday. Great history for him, not so great for the Cowboys, but he made history. He's the first kicker in the Super Bowl era to attempt at least 10 field goals and make them all through the first 3 games of his NFL career. NFL is strange. Like they'll do stuff like this and put it in the Hall of Fame. Like they'll take his jersey or something crazy. I don't know if they'll do that, but shouts out to him. Now, we've been here before, so I think a lot of us are kind of like, all right, let's keep this thing going. Would love to keep you around that 90-something, 100% rate, right? We just don't want you to have the mental lapse, right? So I think it is okay to feel confident in Brandon Aubry now, right? Obviously, we had to see. This is a guy that never kicked in college, obviously never kicked in pros. XFL, you're playing in front of 5,000 people, not 75,000 people. And he's made a 50-yarder, and he's made a 49-yarder, and he's made all the kicks in between, and all but one extra point. To the point now where, like, Brandon Aubry goes out there, I'm like, all right, I ain't gonna go get a drink, not just yet. Those days were Dan Bailey days, but all right, Brandon, I don't get this weird stomach feeling when Brandon Aubry goes out there and kicks. Princess was like, what about that damn Brandon Aubry? I said, hey, Princess, look, let's see what happens. He's been doing good in preseason. Let's see if he carries it over. And he's carried it over, man. 10 for 10 on field goals. Has made all but one of his extra points. So, shouts out to Mr. Aubry. Now, hopefully, we're not giving Brandon Aubry a bunch of opportunities every week down in that red zone. So, one back. Oh, by the way, if you want to call into the show, we can. 351-999-3787 for those who didn't get a chance to get in yesterday. I didn't want to have a 3-hour show yesterday. So we got about like 7 calls in or something like that. We'll see what we do today. So watch the film before the show yesterday, after the show. I mean, front and back. And I've got some thoughts on it. Now, I'm not going to put all my thoughts there, but we like to do what we call the sky optics. And we're going to we're going to talk about a few of these things, and then we'll go into detail more throughout the show. But here are some of my general thoughts and most of these obviously are things I didn't like. You lost in week 3. What didn't you like in week 3 in regards to the offense? Number one, I saw a lot of this. We cut the field in half far too often. Far too often. Look, I get the whole stretch play action boot situation. That's a staple in pretty much everybody's offense, especially in the West Coast offense. Be nice if you actually ran the stretch, right? Like you got to run it sometimes. And we really weren't running the stretch play. When I say running the stretch play, I mean the stretch run, the wide zone or what have you. We weren't really running that particular play when it came to running the ball. I don't even know if that is a Mike Solari staple per se. We really haven't run a whole lot of that play in general. Nonetheless, we would run that boot and we cut the field in half. I get that from time to time. You know, that's everybody runs that. But I felt like we did that too often. All right. And what that does is you're only going to get 2 or 3 options on that side of the field. Against man, it's wonderful. When you're playing against this look at me vision defense, though, you're banking on hopefully 2 guys backside to screw up. And Arizona just stayed disciplined on the backside. Almost every time it seemed like you had to throw into a sea of red, or you had to dirt it, or you had to just scramble and figure something out, or you had a guy in your face because you just didn't have the timing right on the delay release, or you had an offensive lineman just not sure what the hell to do. So we ran that a lot, and even ran it a bunch in the red zone. It just doesn't work out when you're playing against a vision defense. Go back and watch the Jets game. You didn't see that many times. In fact, the one time you saw it was super successful because you had CD Lamb slip, right? That was a fantastic call. When we thought about after the game, said, why didn't we see some of the things we saw in the first 2 weeks? There was kind of a momentum being built. Well, could it have been the offensive line? Could it have been coaching them holding things back? They essentially came out and said, yeah, we had to cut our playbook. McCarthy mentioned it. Pollard mentioned it. And then McCarthy came out and went into a little bit more detail about the middle. I won't say the middle of the field, about stretching the defense. Let me say that. That's my second point here. Overreaction to the offensive line situation between the 20s. Now, I didn't have a ton of issues between the 20s, right? It obviously wasn't perfect. I'm going to get into way more details about this. But there was a clear change in their process in week 3 as opposed to weeks 1 and 2. I mean, you didn't see Deuce Vaughn. You didn't see Turpin. You didn't see a lot of pre-snap motion that you usually saw. And I wasn't sure why they did that. Well, shouts out to... Let me get my button ready here. Shouts out to Aisha. She asked a fantastic question about the vertical aspect of the offense, right? Specifically in this game, because we saw the Cowboys do some vertical things against the Jets. It was schemed up vertical things. There was a plan, right? Didn't see that in this game. And this is what I love about Mike. He'll straight up tell you. He'll straight up admit sometimes, and probably most coaches won't do this, but he'll tell you exactly what he was thinking and why they did this and why they did that. But Mike essentially admitted to overreacting to the offensive line situation here. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to Aisha's question and then Mike McCarthy's explanation on the vertical part of the offense.
Cowboys.com. Coach, The West Coast system is very methodical. How you move down the field. You just mentioned just how much you guys are getting to the red zone. The vertical threat is important to, hitting those big plays when those plays are there is important. Is that something that you gentlemen are still working on, trying to establish the vertical threat of this West Coast offense right now?
Well, the vertical game, great question. Appreciate your insight. Is the vertical game. Frankly, you got to look at how they played too. So that when they had a cap on it, they're early. There wasn't a lot of 7 steps. I think we took one 7-step drop, and that was by design. And that might have been maybe a slight overreaction from me. Based off of having the 3 new starters up front. So and that's part of the game. And it's part of calling a game. On where where's the stress points and making sure those guys get going.
Here's what I like about Mike, man. And what I may love if depending on what he does here. But he can come out and he can admit, hey, I got to be better there. Might have overreacted here. That's not what I'm looking for. There we go. Might have overreacted here, given what happened. That's just the way it was. And he also talked about how they could have been better in the plan leading up to, talking about the offensive line, leading up to the game. But here's why I appreciate, 1, his admission, and 2, even him overreacting. Number 1, he's not too prideful to say, yeah, I overreacted. It says a lot to me. And now it's about how do you go out and you adjust. Not just say it, but adjust to it. The jury's still out on that part. But I don't think you're going to see a stubborn coach who's not willing to adapt. Why do I have that confidence? Well, that leads me to number 2. His willingness to adapt actually kind of worked. I know we don't want to hear that after this week. I know we don't. Could there have been some things you tweaked to be even better? Sure. But him adapting and overreacting didn't harm the offense between the 20s. Could have been better, specifically at the end of the half. That was really my biggest issue between the 20s with the offense was the end of half. I can't express enough how bad the penalty was on CD Lamb when you could have been on the 48 of the Arizona Cardinals. Penalty happens. It's 1st and 20 from your 25. Huge issue. But even then, I wish they would have stretched the defense with CD Lamb and Brandon Cooks. So, look, could we have been better between the 20s? 100%. You want to get better on 1st and 2nd down, so you're not in a bunch of 3rd downs longs. But you move the ball, no problem. No problem. But his willingness to adapt, meaning, yeah, I might have overreacted, but there was a lot of fire thrown at me last minute. Can I adapt to that and still be successful in a way? All while recognizing that I can be even better. And he did that, I think. I think with the fire that was thrown 28 to 48 hours prior, given what was thrown out there offensively from an offensive line standpoint, and understanding we kind of had to pull our playbook a little bit, they did their job good enough to get down in scoring position. The first possession, not counting, but the first possession, a lot of penalties, right? Yeah, back-to-back penalties in that game. After that first possession, the Cowboys offense got put in scoring position 6 out of 7 drives. And the only reason why it wasn't 7 out of 7 was because of that penalty, in my opinion, to CD Lamb at the end of the half. So was it a perfect adjustment? No, we can always go back and be better. But the adjustment worked. You moved the rock on that vision defense to the point where you could have scored points 6 out of 7 times, but you did not, because you either went forward and didn't get any points, or you turned the ball over at the end of the game. And that leads me to number 3. Why did you not get many points down there? Because you were just putting too many no man land situations in the red zone. And if you build off of that, you didn't have a good enough plan down there when doing so. What do I mean by no man's land? 1st and goal from the 3, 2nd and goal from the 2, 3rd and goal from the 4. That's goal line to me. But once you start getting in that 7 to 18, 20-yard range, and you're looking at 3rd and goal from the 12, and you're looking at 2nd and goal from the 15, and things like that, you get put in tough situations against a defense that's going to make you throw through a C. Hence why I think he went backwards at the end of the game and tried to run it. And that's something we'll get to when we get to the film. But you had way too many fringe goal line situations in those 2nd and long, 3rd and longs. That's just never ideal. And Schottenheimer actually talked about this in his presser. And it was kind of refreshing to hear him speak about it because it was something I had noticed when I went back and watched. I'm like, we weren't in our normal goal line situations, like on the goal line where you can just ram it and get a touchdown. We were backed up a lot, and I couldn't remember why. I noticed there was some penalties. I noticed early down runs weren't successful. I shouldn't say they weren't successful. I personally think you could have done some more of that earlier in the game. It was a weird situation, man. You had some success running, but you also didn't. Once you got down there, it got congested. You weren't blocking it right all the time. It was weird. We'll get into it. But Schottenheimer talked about that, being in 2nd and 3rd and long in the goal line. And long is not necessarily 20 yards, right? 15 yards. Long can be 3rd and 7. That's long in a goal line situation. You're not normally going to run it from there. You're going to throw it, and you didn't have a good game plan for it. But here's Shotty speaking on the red zone situation.
I think the red zone bottom line is we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot. If you put yourself in 3rd down and long in the red zone, it's hard. And so I think that's where we got to look, and we got to find a way of winning 1st and 2nd down there. Too many 3rd and longs, and so what happens is you get shell defense, or you get where they play soft umbrella. They try to make you throw the ball underneath, and that's kind of hard. So a big emphasis for us is going to be getting ahead of the sticks down in the red zone. That's throwing the football, running the football efficiently, and then in terms of playing above the 2.3. Part of red zone football is scrambles, and I didn't think we did a great job reacting, and our spacing wasn't great in that regard. So starts with me having to coach it better, make those opportunities show up. But we're excited about the chance to get back to work, and we know that we did so many good things. But man, that we should have been able to punch a couple of those touchdowns in.
I agree with you, Coach. Yesterday on Twitter, I saw a post from an account that's usually like funny, not parody, but it's usually being funny when it comes to Deuce Vaughn, right? And I don't know if he was being funny about this or not. I don't know if he was being serious, but he basically said, I got the solution to the Cowboys' red zone woes, Deuce Vaughn, right? Deuce Vaughn, everything's really Deuce Vaughn when it comes to this account. But that got me thinking, like, wait, because if I get in this no man's land area, I actually think Deuce Vaughn could be extremely useful here. I have no idea why they didn't use him at all in that game. Strange to me. Definitely when they used him the first 2 weeks, whatever. But I think he could be useful. You get into that 7 to 15, 20-yard line range, he could be useful, man, because you still have enough space where his agility and quickness can be of use, right? And he has this height advantage. Hell, you mean he got a height advantage? He's 5'0". Perfect, because they can't see him. So, if he disappears for 1 second and your linebacker, defensive lineman, whomever, missteps, touchdown. Because there's not enough time to react, and you're not worried about a 40-yard run. You just need 8. So, in all seriousness, I don't know how serious that guy was. Deuce Vaughn in that kind of muddied area from time to time, and it's weird because I like I like our backs. I told y'all this. I think there's something to all of them. I think the two that they played on Sunday played well. Rico played well. Tony played well. But if you wanted to try to get something going on the ground or even through the air, down there in that no man's land red zone area, I call it the deep red. Deuce Vaughn, just saying, could be something. Could be something. All right, let's. I don't even know if I have my tools to work here, but let's jump into this film room real quick. And what we're going to do, this isn't going to be your normal film breakdown that we usually do. We're just going to watch and kind of just talk about what we're seeing here down at the red zone. So let's jump into it, right? And figure out what's going on. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you this, because coming out of the conversation about being in no man's land in the red zone, what happens? Now, the Cowboys eventually score on this, and that's great because it actually started off fine. But look where we're at here. 2nd and 15 on the 15 because of a penalty. That's one of the penalties that Coach Schottenheimer was talking about. But you go to where your bread is buttered, and the screen game has been fantastic for the Cowboys, and it works here again. Rico Dowdle with a nice screen, good lead block there by TJ Bass, I'm sorry, and we get the touchdown. Look, this is where your bread is going to be buttered, I think, down here where you need to throw it and catch the team off guard. Cowboys have been hitting this big time in that kind of green zone, money zone, red zone area. Started off well. Cowboys go 1 for 1. I'm like, all right, here we go. Just like it started off well with the Jets, it started off well with the Giants, it started off well in Arizona, and then things got weird. So let's see here what's going on with this play. Again, we just taking a look and talking. Okay, handoff. What happens here? Nothing happens here. That means something happened from a blocking standpoint. Okay, this is the one with TJ Bass, I believe, and maybe Hoffman. Is this the one where TP could have, if Bass holds on to this block? No, this ain't the one. I'll get to it, though. So, again, I talked about this with Vach. I talked about it with you guys yesterday because I got a chance to take a peek at the film a little bit. When we got down there, I just don't think we blocked it well enough, man. Bass gets thrown. You got contact in the backfield. And look how many red jerseys are already around Tony Powell. I mean, I don't give a damn if you're Adrian Peterson. You're not pushing that entire pile into the red zone 10 yards out. Got to be better blocking there. All right, let's see what happens on this one, y'all. On play action, cut the field in half. So that's why I don't like it unless you're going to run the stretch. Like you got to run that. And that's one of the things in the West Coast offense that gets ran a lot, right? Is that stretch, that wide zone. Then you pull in, you got a wide open guy coming across the middle of the field. But when you're down here in this red zone and they're playing that umbrella coverage, they're just not going to bite. They know you're going to throw the ball. It's 2nd and long. They know you ain't running. What am I supposed to do here? I know I said yesterday, hey man, make a play, right? But this ain't that part. There's another part we'll get to here in a second. Just nothing. Got to be better there with the design. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, this was the play. Okay, this was the play I thought was a rub initially, but it's not. It's CeeDee Lamb to the corner. So let me see if I got this. You're gonna get CeeDee Lamb running a corner route, and we're gonna have Cooks run underneath it. I still wish there was a little bit more plan of causing some conflict here, right? Like, hey, just my bad, 35, I ran into you, or whatever number he is. And you can get Cooks open here. Because I think Cooks is the read. Great blitz, because if they don't blitz here, I think we go to CeeDee Lamb, but the read is here. But if we could have one extra tick, take a look at Dak Prescott at the bottom of the screen. We can have one extra tip. This would have been you would have to rope this throw and fire it. You're not going to be able to step in there. So you'd have to rope it or just throw it to the back of the end zone. But look, hindsight 2020, right? Hindsight 2020. If I'm playing offensive coordinator here, I technically would have just had a quick slant come this way, hook it, and then send CeeDee Lamb to that corner. Because pre-snap, just a lot of numbers over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a lot of numbers over here. And once you see them creeping up and blitz, and this is why I wish there was a bit of a hot read situation going on with Michael Gallup as opposed to this double out here. But if there was a hot read going on with Mike, Dak knows, okay, I'm responsible for this guy. But if there's a hot, look where he's playing off of. I'm talking about Michael Gallup's guy. He's getting a free release. So if we go back to the film and say, hey, look, if they're going to play off hot here and we get a blitz situation, screw this. The middle of the field's wide open. Let's get Michael Gallup hot, and this is an easy touchdown. And again, that's easy to say hindsight, but I'm just saying, we go back into the film room. I like to see that. We get no pick, we get no rub. We try to get it into Brandon Cooks, no touchdown there. Normally, I think what you'd see is you wouldn't see a 2-by-3 here. You'd see it opposite. You see these guys just working in tandem and just give you a two-way read. Kind of Ferguson being here, it really doesn't matter in this play, in my opinion. In fact, you're just bringing a guy into the play. How we got here? Got some Hunter Lipkey action. Oh, this was the bread where your bread's butter, right? Take profit. Yeah. So where your bread's butter. I love this play down here, man. Love this play down here. There's some things you could bring off of it. It's the we're going to run a slant, pump fake it here, come left here. We get down to what, the 4? Yeah, we get down to the 4-yard line. This is where things got weird. Good play, good start, right? Things got weird. Drop the ball. Nothing's there. I mean, this play is a disaster. This play is a disaster. First of all, we dropped the ball. Second of all, the hell is this? Come on, coach. We can't have that. Like, spacing has to be better down here. You cannot afford for dudes to run into each other. And then Chumi Doga gets beat, holds, just try to make a play. Nothing happens. They actually take it back now. I mean, that play was just an absolute disaster from start to finish. But they took it back here instead of going 4th and 3 or 4th and 2 from the 4-yard line or whatever it was. They decided to take it back. So here we go. We talk about these third and longs. 3rd and goal or whatever it was from the 15-yard line. Not ideal, but whatever. This is one thing I do appreciate about Jake Ferguson in this game. Jake made a lot of guys miss, and he fought for a whole bunch of extra yards. Look where he catches the ball at, and look where he finishes. You have to wonder if he gets tackled right here at the 9-yard line. You're talking about 4th and, what was that, 6, 7, 8? Probably not going for that. He probably kicked the field goal, which might have been a good points, right? But he's made people miss in this game. I think he had 4 receptions, maybe 5 receptions in this game. And 3 or 4 of those receptions, he was getting yak after the catch. 70. He's actually bounced back and now he did have a drop, but from a reception percentage standpoint, he's been in the 70s over the last 2 games. And this was a pretty good game in regards to his production. And this is the 4th and goal play. It's just nothing. I mean, it's just nothing there. We gotta be better here. Maybe you go back to the screen. I don't know, but nothing here. Dak go try to make a play, barreling down on him. Dude kind of fast. I don't know who that was. And nothing. So far, it's just been a disaster down there. You started off hot, but do you see what I mean by we're just getting in this kind of no man's land situation? How many times are we 1st and goal, 2nd and goal from the 2-3 yard line? Not many. We're getting 3rd and goal in that no man's land situation. All right, let's go to the next play. We're just figuring this thing out here. We're just talking. I think this is the quick slant to Michael Gallup. Yep. Get the quick slant, protect yourself. Now we 1st and goal. Easy there. So how do we respond from that? I would want right back to it. Me personally, I'd want right back to that thing. But, I mean, look, again, hindsight. But there's a play that I know the Packers used to run where we would fake that real fast, sit up, and we're just running a slant here with Michael Gallup. But anyway, let's just go see what happens here on this play. All right, we're running a toss. We didn't deliberately try to get outside, I feel like, all game. Not just in the red zone, but in general. This is essentially a power toss. This is not even trying to get outside. It's a power toss. And again, when it comes to blocking, it just wasn't successful. Let's take a look at it from the other side. Guys, I mean, what are we supposed to do here? You know, why can't we run it in? Well, we're getting no push. Look, the ball has already been tossed. The Cardinals' offensive or defensive line is at the line of scrimmage. Some of those guys are in the back of the line of scrimmage. We're getting no push down there. This is where you miss your guys. This is where you miss having your dudes down there. Again, Adrian Peterson's not, pushing 10 guys into a pile from the 10-yard line every single play. Oh, I hated this play. This was that weird toss to CeeDee Lamb. Just don't like it. Again, why are we getting cute? I don't like this play at all. I don't know what you expected to get out of this. They have been disciplined down here all game. Does nothing to just look at this discipline from these guys back here. 1, 2, 3. This does nothing. They stay home. Now you're telling CeeDee Lamb to break 3 tackles on the way to the end zone. Dumb play. Dumb play in the red zone. What we got here? Oh, this was the CeeDee Lamb play. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I know how I feel. I went on a rant about this yesterday. I don't like the fact that CeeDee Lamb just gave up on the play. CeeDee, you cannot give up on this play. Fight through it. Right? Like, you can't be whining and crying. The ball hits him right in the head, bro. Your head is over here looking at the referees. The ball is right here, my guy. Y'all know how I feel about this, so I'm not going to get my blood pressure high again, but you gotta fight for this, man. You gotta fight for it. Why are we giving up? What are we giving up? If you can't get off of me. It's right there. I can't help but laugh, bro. I don't think it don't get that much easier. All right. Moving on. This was Michael Gallup's sluggo. Now, when we talk about building and family of plays, so you run all these slants in the West Coast offense, it's because you want to eventually get to a point where I'm going to run this sluggo, boom, and hit it and get open. This, in my opinion, was the most frustrating play for me. CeeDee Lamb was the most frustrating play. Let me rephrase that. This was the most frustrating pass to me. There weren't too many that I was like, we got to have that back. But this one right here was the one for me. This was a touchdown all the way. Put your foot in the damn grunt. Stop getting so damn toesy, Dak, and put that thing out there. This is 6. It's also a DPI, but I don't care about that right now. Throw the flag. I get it. But you got to put this one out here. This was really the biggest missed opportunity in the red zone, in my opinion. You got to put this thing right here. This has to come back here somewhere. Eventually ends up there, but you know what I mean. Lead Michael Gallup to the pylon, or at least throw it higher. Granted, throw the flag, sure. I don't know how this wasn't a DPI. I mean, this is textbook. That's textbook DPI, man. But that's the one play for me. That's the one play that I love to have back here because you score there, and then now see what happens once we get the defense back on the field. So instead, we try to run a bunch of times. This is another play that kind of pissed me off. If you're going to do this down here, I think there needs to be the option. Now, this is what we used to do. I don't know why we went away from this. We'd have this motion on the backside. These guys are going to pull. You're going to get a pull. And Dak would pull this pretty much all the time. And we have a run pass option. Instead, he just hands it off. This is a play where I would have been like, pull the damn ball. I mean, at the very least, bro, you're going to get into a collision here with a couple of the guys, another guy off screen. But I don't care. Pull it, fight through. Everybody worried about Dak running the ball. I don't care in these situations. I think he could have scored a touchdown. So just pull it and run, man. And we come back and do? He ran the ball again. I mean, Jesus. All right, what happens here? Oh, this was the play I'm talking about. So, actually, no, it's not. I think it's the... Did I miss this? Yes, it is. This is the play I'm talking about. So, I do think Tony Pollard could have scored a touchdown right here if the blocking goes right. Here's what we're going to have. Terrence Steele, in my opinion, should be helping out a little bit more on 97. I don't even know if y'all can see this. Y'all really can't see this, so I don't know why I even started using my thing. Terrence Steele should really be helping here on 97 a little bit more. He's not. And he's going to get up to 93, I think, a little bit too soon. The play. You're asking your tight end to jump into this gap which is really hard to do when this defensive end is firing. That's a tough block. That's a tough block for anybody, let alone a tight end. Help out your guy a little bit longer and then allow TJ Bass TJ Bass to get to the second level. Because if you do that, look what happens. If we can get a little bit more help here, this is a touchdown. This is a touchdown. TJ Bass gets on Kaiser White. I don't think 34 is going to be able to stop Tony Pollard. The blocking just broke down there. And they're inviting you to run, right? Like, this isn't a stacked look. You really want to run in this look, but the Cardinals are saying, okay, run it. Because if you don't score, that's clock for us. All right, coach, we're going to run it. You got to block it. Once again, man, you're getting met right here. It's frustrating. And then to cap it off, you get the turnover in the red zone. Again, don't like the design. And I know what Dak said he was trying to do. He's trying to look off Kaiser White, and it worked for 0.2 seconds. I mean, Kaiser White, if you take a look, he's standing right here. Oh, you can't see. Kaiser White's right here. He's going to float. He's going to float. Then he plants. Dak's mind's already made up. I'm going to try to ear hold this thing, and it doesn't work. Interception. You can see it from the other side, too. Here's Kaiser White in the middle, number 7. Going to look off this linebacker. Then he plants. Just great recognition by Kaiser White. Even if he doesn't come back into the screen, I don't think this is getting completed. You live to fight another day. But the mind was made up here. So those were, I believe, about 90% of the plays in the red zone. I think I left out like 2 plays. I think it was like a couple run plays at the end of the game where we ran the ball like 5 straight times and to no succession. But you get the point. There really wasn't a point in showing you failed runs over and over again, but they all had the same reasonings, right? You didn't block it up. So a lot of people ask, well, is it because we don't have X, Y, Z? And Schottenheimer talked about it. I already talked to you guys about it. I don't care who you had down there. When you don't draw it up right and you don't block it up right, and obviously when you're missing your top linemen, and these aren't just normal. Like, yeah, you're missing a starter. You're missing who was a starter back in the day? You're missing Kyle Kocher. Shout out to Kyle Kocher. You're missing Phil Costa, right? Like, you're not missing these guys. You're missing important guys down there. You're obviously going to have some struggles, right? But you can't run it in if you can't block it up. You can't throw it in if you don't have better plans against their umbrella coverage. But they said, hey, Shotty, man, are you missing Zeke? Are you missing Dalton Schultz down there? And Shotty was like, hey, there's nothing to do with players here. We got the players. It has us to do with having a better plan and executing it. But here's Marty Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer on that.
But this is not a matchup thing. We've got terrific players. And we just have to execute better. We have to coach better. And when the plays are there to be made, we have to do those things. And it'll be a big emphasis for us this week. We'll get it started early. We'll rep the hell out of it. We'll make sure that we feel good about the plan. But again, it's certainly not something to do with our players. We have really, really talented guys that we feel very good about. And like anything, when you have something that you struggle with, what do? You emphasize it. And the way our players are wired, they're going to bounce back and they'll accept that challenge. And I think we'll play really well this week down there.
Tend to agree. I think this is one of those ones in the red zone where you go back to the drawing board. I don't got the meme, but I think I put this on Twitter. You done f***ed up, right? We did. We got to be better. We will be better. They have been better. I personally think we talked about the defense having this kind of dazed and confused look a little bit. I think Mike got dazed. I think Mike got a little dazed due to the offensive line situation. And again, he never really had to run into that much adversity leading into these games. This was, okay, I'm focused on the offense. I'm focused on the play calling. I'm just focused on that. And then boom, Thursday comes and then Saturday comes and then right before the game comes and it's like, okay, we've got boom, boom, boom. We're going to eliminate this. And I think he kind of was dazed out there after the first possession. Now, it doesn't help. You cannot have 3 penalties down there. It doesn't help when you don't, execute when it is eventually there. It wasn't like it was there a lot, but when it is, it's even more important for you to execute, right? And it doesn't help when you don't block. But I said this before, and I'll say it again, under Mike, right? It's the first adversity we're seeing under Mike as a play caller. It is your job to outcoach that. It's your job to scheme it up, et cetera, et cetera. Because at the end of the day, you're going to run into coordinators who are going to be just as smart as you or smarter, and it's going to become a cat and mouse game. And can you reestablish the advantage? Because it's going to be back and forth. That happens. It's football. It's National Football League. Can you reestablish that advantage? And we never did. They did. They adjusted. They figured it out. And Mike could never really, reestablish that. And we never got in a rhythm down there. We're constantly, is what we call it, in no man's land. And when you're in no man's land and you're not getting any push on the offensive line running the rock, well, now we're throwing into umbrella coverage, and we don't have great scheme down there in that game to do it. You got guys running into each other. You're cutting the field in half. We're dropping the ball. We're holding. It just was extremely sloppy football, I think, down there. And this is the game to me that I came away saying, okay, that is a concern because it wasn't the case the prior week before. You scored 4 times down there, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns in a 2-point conversion against a better defense. That's what's weird. And then in this one, you just completely crapped the bed after the first possession. So after the first red zone opportunity. So those are kind of my 3 things. Cut the field in half too often. They overreacted to the O-line situation between the 20s. Which, again, that's nitpicking because they did their job between the 20s. You racked up over 400 total yards. You got to the red in scoring position 6 times. You just got to convert. And then too many times you were in no man's land in the red zone. So that's enough of me talking. Let's hear from you guys talk. Let's talk to Glenn. I almost said Glenn from Arizona because Glendale, Arizona. I don't even know where you from, Glenn, but my bad. What's up, Glenn?
No, it's all good. Appreciate you taking the call. Yeah, I'm in the DC area, DMV area. So,
right. Chocolate City.
Okay. Great film work, by the way. I really enjoy watching your film breakdown. It helps me because I don't have the all 22, so I'm able to see some of the things that happen. I want to get your thoughts. I just have one question regarding the offense and then one regarding the defense. I'll make them quick.
Okay.
So the first question regarding the offense, do you think philosophically that we should employ the use of fullbacks more? And the reason why I ask this,
did that a lot, actually.
Because of the skill sets of our fullbacks, being able to catch passes, I think that always leaves them as an outlet option. But it also is because I think our running backs, they all have juice, but they tend to go down on initial contact. If they get hit near the line of scrimmage, they tend to not be as effective.
Don't tell that to
whereas
Rico.
If they can get,
don't tell that to Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, listen, I think there's even more yardage there, I guess is my point. In other words, if there can be a fullback to at least take that first man from getting that initial contact, sure. I feel like there's more yardage there for both he and TP.
So he has 26 snaps over the last 2 games. That's a lot to me.
Yeah.
Honestly, a little bit more than I like. I'm not a big fullback guy. Too. I'm a big fullback guy unless I'm using him to dump it off or we're running 3rd and 1. So, they're using Hunter Lipkey plenty. I think the problem is Hunter Lipkey's not a blocking fullback. So if you look at some of the red zone stuff we did, guess who was in there, bro? Hunter Lipkey.
Well, weren't there a couple plays? And by the way, I'm not saying it has to be Lipkey. I want to be clear. I'm all for using Ferguson as well as an H-back.
No. If you're going to use a tight end in that situation, you call up McEwen. But then what's the point of having Hunter Lipkey? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's a waste of a roster spot. If your fullback can't do fullback things, why is he on this roster?
Well, I guess, the way from what I've seen, and I don't really even want to give him carries. I mean, it was nice. I think he picked up some decent yardage on 1 carry. I just feel like with our running backs, I think that there's more yardage available on some of these carries. and the
Let me ask you a
interior. I could be wrong, but
let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you watch the film review we just did?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
So you saw where the blocking just breaks completely down. Like what? I'm not really sure. What do you want the running backs to do here? And in that situation, by the way, you ran for 185 yards in this game. Your running backs ran for over 5 yards per carry, or about 5 yards per carry, and Tony Pollard had 122 yards. So,
Yeah.
what? I mean, in all seriousness, like what do you want the running backs to do when they're met where they were met at in the backfield, and when you're having to deal with the offensive line getting absolutely no push there, right? And I just don't know what a fullback is going to do in this situation when the fullback was out there and he wasn't, landing any blocks or digging anybody out anyway. I just think flat out, bro, you have to be better blocking.
Yeah.
Like you can have Jerome Bettis, but if Jerome Bettis is getting 2 or 3 guys meeting him at the line of scrimmage, that's going to be hard to push 3 or 4 guys into the end zone from the 7-8 yard line every single time. You know what I'm saying? Like you just got to be better blocking down there,
Sure.
point blank, period, bro.
Okay, that's fair. As far as defense is concerned, and I really didn't think about this. I thought we could be more of a plug and play, and obviously Diggs, that was a big loss. I'm wondering if maybe we need to switch to more of zone looks sometimes. I think my concern is Bland on the outside. I don't feel like he did particularly well. I don't know what your thoughts are. I'm wondering if maybe he needs to be back inside and maybe Lewis outside. I don't necessarily love that either because Lewis is a little small. I'm just a little.
I think they're overreacting.
I'm not certain.
I think what happens, and I guess I'm starting to try to take this mantle on as a creator. We overreact way too much. We overreact way too much. Way too much. Look, it's one game, number one. Okay. Number two, Duron Bland, did it start off hot? Nope. But it finished that way. Duron Bland didn't give up a single catch after the first, I think, was drive or the second drive. That first drive, he gave up, I think, 1 or 2 catches. And then after that, they didn't even go his way anymore. And if you go watch the film and go listen to Coach Dan Quinn, he only names a few people that played good in this game. And guess who was one of them? Duron Bland. Right? And in the pregame show, I said, hey, give DB a couple games, right? You got to understand, he didn't get the nod to play outside corner till Friday. Friday, it was like, hey, you're going out to the outside corner. Sunday, he gives up 2 catches and was like, we're ready to throw the baby back in the bathwater or whatever the saying is. Whoa, let's relax. He gave up 2 catches for 20 yards, I think it was, something like that. If that's what he's going to do every week, and we come back on here and say, hey, man, Duron Bland giving up 2 catches for 20 yards, we got to get him up out of here. Tough crowd. It's a tough crowd. It's going to be hard to please anybody if you're giving up 2 for 20 every week, and it's a problem. So I thought Duron Bland bounced back well. Here's the thing about corners. You're going to give up plays. How do you bounce back? He gave up a big play in the beginning of that game, right? I think it was something like a 15-yarder or whatever. And then I think gave up 1 other catch playing off. I don't like that we played a bunch of off coverage, but we played off. Nothing for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Two receptions, right? 2 receptions. And then he showed some physicality when he got a chance to. But no, I'm not down on Duron Bland and ready to just throw him out from being out and then put Jordan Lewis out there. No, I think J. Lou has over 20,000 or 2,100 snaps in the slot. That's where he's comfortable at. I think when he's healthy, he's one of the better slot guys you got. So you keep him there and you let Duron Bland build off the top of that. Now Duron Bland is going to have an entire week to prep to play there and another game of film. And I said this in pregame show. Give DB, I said this to a bunch of people actually behind the scenes. Give DB 2 games. I think there's no problem out there.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Duron Bland and Gilmore will be fine. And I'm talking about both of them because they gave up some plays in that game and there's a lot of people shook in their knees about it. I love what Brian Broaddus said. Hey, let these guys play. It's one game. These are not some scrubs out here, bro. They're not scrubs. You got out coached. You got outplayed. It's one game. Let's let these guys play and get adjusted to the new way they're going to have to play because Diggs isn't there. and let's revisit this thing once we maybe get to the halfway point. But I'm just not about to panic over 2 receptions, 20 yards. Sorry, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I'm more encouraged. I mean, listen, I don't think all is lost, obviously, but I think you're right. You got to give it a little bit of time. They've been through some changes here, and to your point, they did bounce back in the second half. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you taking the call, and I'll keep watching offline.
Appreciate you, Glenn, from not Glendale, Arizona, but Chocolate City. Yeah, I want to find this. I wish I could find the tweet, but whatever. Yeah, I don't really get the whole Bland thing. I mean, again, 2 receptions, 20-some yards. I think it was 23 yards, something like that. If that is, think about this for a second. If that is his stat line for the rest of the season, every single game, that is a phenomenal year. That's a phenomenal year. So I thought he bounced back well. I asked that question actually to Duron Bland last year about, look, one of the things I wanted to see happen with you in the preseason last year, you were fantastic, almost too good, right? I'm like, nah, I want to see adversity when it strikes. What happens when you give up a touchdown? What happens when you give up a play? And you'll hear every cornerback say this, hey, you got to forget. Even when you make a good play, you have to forget because you're going to give up plays in this league. Duron Bland gave up a touchdown in the Seattle Seahawks game, came back nails. Right, that was when I was like, okay, I already saw the traits. We saw him have a great camp, great preseason. I'm like, what happens when adversity strikes? It struck, and he was nails after that. I said, yes. Get this motherfucker out there. And then Jordan Lewis goes down. Adversity strikes. While he's out there stretching, hey, DB, we going to need you to be the slot corner. Cool. Was it a perfect game? No. But he had a big play made in that game. Hey, DB, right before the playoffs. Hey, man, we're going to need you to slide outside. Cool. He goes outside. He's not a liability. So I just say, give it. I don't even think you had to give it 2 games. You might just need to give it 2 quarters, to be honest. The plays that happened, the big plays in the passing game that happened to me, I mean, the biggest play was a breakdown. Jordan Lewis, I think there was a miscommunication. Everybody else seemed to be playing man. Jay Lou passed his guy off, and Michael Wilson's just running down the line, just running wide open. And Dan Quinn talked about it. He said that's a play that we usually cover very well. But there was a miscommunication. So, all right, let's get back to the line. We got 1, 2, 3. That's enough. That's enough. All right, we got East Coast in the building. What's good, East Coast?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing, Scott?
I'm good, brother.
Hey, I just got quick 3 questions, man.
Okay.
They on the defense. Man, I like Micah Parsons on the ends sometimes rushing to get the quarterback, but I think sometimes when they put him on the end, he gets a little too far upfield and they run right behind him, just like the Cardinals did.
Yeah.
I think if they want to do something, let him just go to the sidelines and stuff like that every so often, but put him back in linebacker because I don't know. My other second question was, is it me or
you didn't
or
even ask a question yet? Hold on, wait a minute. What was your question? What was your first question?
The first question is, as far as putting Micah Parsons back at linebacker, and if you're gonna blitz him, just blitz him instead of always keeping him on the line of scrimmage.
All right, let me save your breath here, because I'm a fan of Micah linebacker and then edge rusher in spots, but it's not happening. I mean, y'all can continue to keep talking about it and look, y'all have a voice, it's not happening. Like Micah Parsons is not playing traditional linebacker for this team, so we can just forget about that, right? So if we forget about that, what is the next conversation? The next conversation is actually about Micah playing the edges better in regards to his aggressiveness. Teams know this dude literally is a lion. He's literally hunting the quarterback. So they're going to play off that. The next step in Micah's game when he goes up against this style of offense is to be more disciplined. It's not necessarily to put him at linebacker. You know why? Because he has an aggressor's mentality. So he's still going to, hey, I might bite this way. And now that gives the leverage to the tackle that's pulling or guard that's pulling on the RPO. And we're still going to get outside. We saw that happen against Philly. It's going to be about Micah just being more disciplined when he is on the edge and not always in hunt mode. Like 2nd down and 9, bro. Micah Parsons was in a hunt mode, and they knew it. They said, oh, he's going to be flying up that field. And if he had just stayed disciplined, and I'm talking about the run to Dobbs, right? Because I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about, one of the plays. If he just stays disciplined, he might cause a fumble on Joshua Dobbs if he just remains disciplined. So I think that's the next thing for Micah is he's not playing traditional linebacker, not going to happen. So how do I get better at what he's doing now? And I think it's about being a little bit more disciplined, less. I don't want him to turn off that Hunter mentality, but I do think early on you kind of got to fill out the defense first before you try to go head hunting.
Okay. All right. Then the next question is what's up with the ends? I mean, I see D-Law doing his thing, but I don't know about my man number 54. I keep forgetting his name.
Sam?
Yes. Yeah. I don't understand what's going on. I mean, it's like you figure he's supposed to be pushing everything inside because I'm looking at the game and I'm like, okay,
Sam has
it was way too many times.
He has the same issue as Micah. Same issue as Micah. He's not a guy that's going to try to contain down in, down out, which is crazy because he's a fan. When he puts his mind to it, like I think Sam Williams can be a fantastic run defender. But
exactly.
I would love to ask Dan Quinn this question: Is there a bit of is the hunting mentality a bit too turned up sometimes, right? And it might work when you're going against a team who's not going to run a bunch of RPO on you. Or a read option on you. But once you get a team that is going to be invested in running that read option, that's where you can get in trouble. And that's where they have to be disciplined. And in my opinion, I'd like to see them go back to more traditional stuff up front. Now, they did. When we talked about this yesterday, I hadn't watched the defense just quite yet, but I went back and watched. They did have a handful of plays where Mozzie and Hankins were on the field, but we would do that in a weird wide. We'd play this kind of wide 9-ish formation. We were still way back with our secondary. It just, again, we talk about McCarthy seemed dinged and phased and not sure what's going on. You know, Mr. Krabs meme. Felt like Dan Quinn was the same way. Shouts out to my guy Marv yesterday. We, Marv basically said, Dan Quinn, I'm over this guy. But one of the things he said about Dan Quinn that is true, right? And we can laugh and kiki is he get cute. Like Dan Quinn, he'll get cute and he'll be in these weird alignments, man, these weird formations. And it's fun when you just got to pin your ears back. But when it's time to just play football because you're not ahead by a lot of points and teams are going to do some things to test your discipline, hey, sometimes less is more. Less is more. Put your big guys out there or put your traditional lineup out there, Hankins, Mozzie, Osa or Hankins, Osa, Micah, D-Law, or Sam, Micah, or go to 5-2, whatever, right? But don't get cute. We don't need to put Micah Parsons at one tech. We don't need to keep putting LVE lined up on the outside. We don't need to do that every game. That could be used in moderation. So, that's something. But yeah, Sam Williams, he suffers from the same thing as Micah. He gets too aggressive sometimes, and he just needs to slow down.
Right. Now, my last question was, I don't know. I think we need to figure out a way to get Wanye Thomas on the field. I mean, I just that completely baffles me. I mean, it's like he can play so many different positions. It's like, who would you take out? I think maybe take out Bell or either LVE, but some kind of way, man, they got to figure out a way to get Wanye Thomas on the field.
I love Wanye Thomas. In fact, he's jumped in regards to free safety. He's jumped Izzy for me. I kept talking about, hey, man, we only got Hooker as a free. We need somebody back there. There you go. Wanye's your guy. Problem is, it's not going to be Bell because Bell was doing more linebacker things, which, again, y'all, when you're up, when Bell only has to deal with, one guy or playing close to line of scrimmage coming downhill, that's fine. But once you get into a game where teams are going to be adamant about power football, I don't care how bad the guard is. If you get a 325-pound man on, get to the second level and he's meeting Marquise Bell at 205, he's going to get moved. He's going to get moved when he's retreating and not coming downhill. So I think it was Aisha who asked this question. I can't really say everything about it, but she did mention that about Dan Quinn. She asked Dan Quinn about the size, like, hey, you know, when you guys go light a little bit, are teams deliberately running at you? That's exactly what Arizona did, man. They said, okay, you want to have Marquise Bell down here when I'm still going to run the ball and pull guards to the second level? Fine. And he wasn't out there a whole lot, but when he was out there was a few big runs that were had. But back to your original question, how do you get Wanye in? It can't be LV. I mean, look, y'all know how I feel about LVE in general. Look, admirable guy, but just why are we putting him at end? I'm not the biggest fan. It is what it is. I hope he, again, does what he did last year, steps up. But it can't be LVE because Wanye is not a linebacker. So it has to be one of the safeties. Do you take out Dono? He's not better than Dono, right? And that was Dono's first game back. I get it, but you're not replacing Donovan Wilson. You take out Curse, you're not replacing Curse, right? He didn't have a great game either, but you're not replacing Curse, and you're not replacing Malik Hooker either. So I'm with you, man. What do we do with Wanye? I like Wanye, but I don't know how we get him on the field consistently without taking a bunch of other dudes off the field who are integral into your defense.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last one, and I'm out.
Okay.
What about my man Clark? In closing, what do you think of Clark? I mean, did he hit
I'm disappointed a little bit.
Or sophomore?
This game, the other games, I don't think there was really nothing to go. Like he was just, no issue. But this game, I was disappointed. This was a game I thought that having LVE and Clark, there was a chance that they could kind of, all right, we know they're going to run at us, so let's kind of show our work. One play in particular, not many plays. I thought he made some plays. He had 2 stops in this game, 6 tackles. But the one play in particular was the 20-yard one. And honestly, maybe I'm weighing it heavily on this play, but whatever. There was a 20-yard run from Connor. He went left, and what pissed me off is that Clark saw it. Like Clark saw the offensive lineman about to come to the second level and get hands on him, and he didn't fire downhill. Now, I've seen him do this.
Exactly.
I've seen him fire. I've seen him recognize and go. Now, what happens in this type of offense, you get so caught up. I think there was a tight end that went opposite, or it might have been Rondale Moore, and you get caught up in this eye candy. And I don't give a damn how good you are. These eye candy things, I hate it. It's college. I hate it. I get it in the NFL. It's going to affect you. But he has the short area quickness and awareness to use his speed and agility to make up for it. He didn't on that play. And that play right there probably weighs heavy on me. But that was a disappointment because that was a play where you could have kind of showed, look, see, this is what I can do when I'm firing. And he bounced back. All of them, in a way, bounced back in the second half. But they just were not there in that first half. Everybody just seemed to be a step slower and not sure where the hell to be on defense.
Exactly. All right, Scott, I'm going to get up off of here, man. I ain't going to hold you. I appreciate it, man, and keep doing your thing, bro.
Thank you, man. Good call so far. We 2 for 2. Let's see if we can make it 3 for 3 when we talk for Daryl from Fort Worth, not Dallas.
That's right. Fort Worth, not Dallas. We hate Dallas. How you doing, man?
It's so weird. I'm not from here, so I don't understand the rivalry, but I'll never understand. Like, y'all, ain't that the yeah, I know, and it's not the same. You're right. I don't want disrespect. It's not the same. But DFW it feels the same to me, but whatever.
You got, football is such a big thing in the area, so we played football against each other and basketball against each other.
Okay.
So,
I ain't thinking about that. I got to get to a game, man. Like, I've been down here for going on 2 years now, 2.5 years. I still haven't been to a high school football game. I want to go.
Oh, man.
You got to recommend me, maybe state championships I'll go, but recommend me a game to go to for high school football that'll show me this is Texas, man. You got to recommend me a game. Not right now, but at some point.
Okay, I got you. Have you even familiar with any of the high school stadiums in the area, in DFW area?
Yes, I've driven by.
High school?
I've driven by a few, and I look over to Michelle and be like, "Man, look at that stadium." And she like, well, "What about it?" I'm like, "That's a high school stadium." And she like, "Whatever." I'm like, "All right, look, that's not how they look where I'm from. Where I'm from, there's grass growing through the bleachers. You can fit about 100 people. Now, in all seriousness, though, the stadiums that they build down here for high school, unbelievable, man.
And that's because, football is big time. And, yeah, so some of those where you got those big high school stadiums, that means that those high schools are really bringing in the people. So it'll be some rivalry games. And I could talk to you about it. I can send you something.
Send me something. What's on your mind, though, about the Cowboys, bro?
Okay, so you're talking about the red zone. One of the things and it's been a long time, I've been a long time Cowboy fan, and you could almost tell in the first quarter,
oh yeah,
this ain't gonna be a good game.
The second play.
And it happened a lot to me with Kellen Moore on big games, but it's happened throughout Cowboy history for me.
Oh, you're talking
like the other
offensively.
team.
You're talking offensive. Okay,
because
can you explain?
Other team,
explain to me why you said that in the first quarter you felt it wasn't going to be a good game. Go ahead. Offensively.
Right, because what happens is, to me, it's like the defense knows our plays. The way they react to it, oh God, dog.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that in this game. From when I watched the tape, I didn't see they know what we're doing. They just did what they did. We're going to play vision defense and drop 7 back because we don't want to get beat over the top. And, again, after the first possession, the Cowboys moved the ball at will. So I didn't necessarily see that part of it, Daryl.
So when you go down, so I feel it up front, but then when you start later on, you start showing in the red zone, that play where we do the Dak on the bootleg, that's a staple forever. Well, you got to set that play up more to me for number one.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, you can't just get down there and all game you ain't ran stretch. And you at second in no man's land, and we about to fool them. No, 100%. You can't just run that damn play, without setting it up for sure.
And so they were just sitting there waiting because they waiting on that. They know that's a big play for us all the time.
Yeah.
Very stable. So they practiced up for that one.
Yeah, they played their game. They said, "Look, just stay in your zone. If they run it, we just going to hopefully count on our guys and make a play." And they didn't run it. And when Dak pulled the ball out, and he had 5 people staring at him, and with the whole field cut in half. I mean, just not a great play call right there.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. The other thing is that I saw that when they should have been more of a read option. We don't even – that is not even like it's even in the playbook anymore. And I get it. I don't want Dak running a bunch either. I want him to keep his ankles and all that. But you still have to – even if he doesn't take it and run with it, you still got to give him that look so that when you need it later on in the game around the goal line, is there. You showed that where he would at least gotten to the 5-4, maybe even went on, pushed on into the touchdown on that.
Something, Daryl? I mean, just as a general thought talking about it. And I don't know if this was because of the late changes, but what's been successful in the red zone a lot really has been getting outside with your running backs or Turpin. You got 3, you scored a bunch of rushing touchdowns in the red zone with speed and with getting to the edge. And we just, for whatever reason, bro, abandoned that. And I was talking to Vach yesterday, and I straight up asked him a question. Like, there was clearly part of this playbook that was not used. And from an offensive lineman, what would have to happen? Now, I get it's not fair to ask him that. It's not like he played in the NFL. But I still want to know, like, what changes that make you say we can't use this play because of this offensive lineman? And as he was talking and I was thinking, I was like, well, remember that play from Tyler Biadasz where in the Giants game, he's combo blocking, and then he flips his hips, and he does kind of this spin-a-rooney, and he comes back from the backside and gets a block on a guy? You ain't running that with Hoffman. You remember those plays where Tyron Smith, for the first 2 games, were pulling? We were getting Tyron Smith out wide, pulling on guards and on corners and safeties, and we were gashing the defense. We didn't run that one single time, not one. So I'm like, there has to be some. Maybe they didn't trust. Obviously, Hoffman to run that, I wouldn't. And maybe they didn't trust Chuma Doga to get out there like that, which I wouldn't either because he doesn't have that feet and that speed or quickness as Tyler Smith or Tyron Smith. So I think they had, again, overreacted overreacted to the offensive line situation, even if you want to be honest, not just between the 20s, but in the red zone too.
Well, a toss play is you don't get much more basic than a toss play. And I just don't ever when's the last time you even have Tony Pollard on a toss?
Last week. In week 2. That's what I'm saying. Like, we eliminated, like, for whatever reason, we eliminated getting to the outside. Like, you got TP and Turpin and Deuce Vaughn involved on the outside. What was that?
No, never mind. It's good.
Okay.
I didn't say anything.
All right.
Yeah, so I don't know. But that's such a basic play. That shouldn't be eliminated. Come on.
I agree, bro. I agree. The only way I think you maybe say we don't want to do this is because you don't trust Chuma to operate in space like that. And that's good coaching because he's not good in space like that. But you know who you could have did that with? Tyler Smith.
Who's that?
You could have said, all right, Chuma, we're gonna pin down. You're gonna pin this in, and we're gonna get Tyler Smith out wide, and let's go. But they didn't do it.
And I think that's where McCarthy's like, well, we didn't practice that. So since we didn't practice that, we're not going to make that adjustment.
Right.
Try that.
There you go, Daryl. There you go.
And I don't know if that's the wise thing. But my last thing is, man, Gallup on the fade we missed it one time. You remember one time when that dog on played Green Bay and Jordan Lewis was on him, and they threw a fade in the left corner, and they didn't get it, and he came right back and threw it again, touchdown.
Yeah, 2017, man, I think that was. Yeah.
I don't know. Still branded in my brain. But that's our fade guy.
Yeah.
It's really not CD. That's our fade guy.
But CD can, but hold on, but don't do that. CD is 100 a fade guy too. He just was out of his mental game yesterday. Or Sunday, I'm sorry. He let the mental part get in his head. CD Lamb can go up and get the rock, bro. He should have went up and got that rock. And we talked about this yesterday. I don't want to keep harping on it. But he got in his head, and I didn't like that about him. But I think they both can do it. But you're right. Gallup he's, in my opinion, one of the better 50-50 guys in the league prior to the injury. But even then, he's still making some tough catches. So basically what you're saying is go back to it, right? Okay, you missed it the first time, go back to it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Even if you don't go right back to it, you know, instead of CD over there, you put the Gallup back over there because that guy on the right corner, he wasn't that great. I think he was a rookie or a young player or something. Their cornerback.
Yeah, they had two young guys out there. And that's the other thing that pissed me. Marco Wilson got off easy in this game, but anyway, yeah, they had the young guy, 6th-round pick, Trey. Is it Trey something? Ken Trey something? But yeah, he's not that. Look, they like him, but he can't deal with CD Lamb on a down-to-down basis or Michael Gallup on a jump ball. No.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got. Okay. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good one.
All right, man.
Daryl from Fort Worth, not Dallas.
Almost said Daryl from Fort Worth, not Texas. Daryl from Fort Worth, not Dallas. Prosper is a school I always hear about. Allen, that's another one. Shouts out to Jeff. I think Jeff Kavanaugh went to Allen. But yeah, and it was crazy is I should just ask Jesse and Philip Tanner. I talked to those guys decent. Well, Jesse I talk to all the time, but even Philip Tanner, I saw him one day. He was at a state game or something. He coaches high school football down there. I mean, where should I go? What game should I attend? And they easily could tell me. I just be so damn busy. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's keep it moving here. Hey, Marv, I got you. You know I like to end the show with you, Marv. D. Sean, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm from Fort Worth too. It is a big difference between.
It's a big deal.
Look, the reason why, because whenever they say DFW, it's kind of like they just kind of target Dallas and they don't really go to the Fort Worth part. That's how we kind of beat with each other.
I've only been to Fort Worth. I've been there a bunch, but I've only been there for events. You know, anytime like WWE comes down here, they go to the Dickies Arena. Now they're going to be at the American Airlines next month, and I'll be there. But normally when they hold like a big pay-per-view, they're doing it down in Fort Worth. So I'm down there, but I'm only at that part of Fort Worth, so I don't really know much about it.
Okay, hopefully I see the WWE event, but I'm supposed to be there next month too.
Yeah.
So I guess all right. If I have 14. For one, I feel like
I'll be coming. I got 15 things. Let me tell you.
but for one, my thing is CD Lamb. So my thing is, I feel like he got taken out so quickly. It's like if things don't go CD Lamb's way, he kind of miles and pow, and it's kind of like you don't see that right now. And I just feel like I'm with the other caller. I feel like Gallup. Once you see Gallup kind of heating up, I feel like he should have been on the outside instead of CD, because we know CD can make some catches, but when he's in his head, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I don't disagree, bro. It's one of the things that is frustrating for me for CD. I get that he's still young in life years, but we're in year 4 now. You know, you were frustrated last year, beginning of the year, and it showed, and then you got it together, and we didn't really see that kind of whiny CD, but that popped up on Sunday, and I hope somebody in his corner or coaches or when he goes back and watches the film, he understands. Body language matters. Body language matters. If you're upset with something, I don't mind you going to the sideline and say, hey, what you seeing here? And they talked about it. I don't know if you saw that shot, but him and Dak were talking about, this and that and this. But being out there flailing your arms and giving up on plays, you can't have that from your all-pro wide receiver. You can't.
Dak, I was screaming at that TV. Pull it a couple times, please. You got to make them respect, especially in the end zone, because when you were showing it,
red zone,
I just seen grass. Like, if he would have pulled it, it would have been him versus one person.
I think he
scores. Guarantee you.
I think he
would have scored.
Yeah, I don't know what the thought process is there. Like, I'd love to ask. I'd love for somebody to say, hey, what were you thinking about in that situation? What were you told? What was going on? Because it should have been straight up, look, if this defensive end bites, because if you look when he did it, it didn't even look like he followed through with the fake. He kind of was like, all right, this is a play. We're just going to run the play, right? Like, let's see if what happens. As opposed to, I'm running this play with a purpose. If this DE pulls, if he crashes down, I swear to God, I'm trucking this center, or I'm trucking this cornerback. I don't care what the hell is who's in front of me. It didn't feel like it was that type of energy. It felt like, all right, this is what they want to run. We'll run it. So that's the play you had to pull that ball there, and you score a touchdown easily.
And then I guess with Mike, I feel like Mike is trying to do too much, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because that CD one, that's so Kellen Moore. I was like, don't start this. That was definitely
PTSD. It took 3 games. He glitched, but it took 3 games, and he had a glitch. That was the wasted play.
Yes, I just feel like he has to be more productive in like not panicking when you get there. Use a screen game. That screen game works for you. Like, if it's there, present itself. Also, I need him to be a lot more creative in it. And I guess another one, my last one, is Dan Quinn. Sir, I'm going to need you to bring out better, because I watched the Koye media, and shout out to Koye. He was telling me, like, the first half, their alignment was very bad. So
terrible.
I don't know if you're going to break down the defense plays, but
I watched the defense yesterday.
Okay.
I actually watched it right after the show. Oh, yeah.
But them holes that were hitting was so, like, it was such little things that made just a big difference.
Yeah, if you listen earlier in the show, I talked about when they came out in their heavy set, they would have, like, Mozzie and Hankins, but their alignments were wide. And so when you go with wide alignments like that, you're going, in my opinion, you're going to need some quickness at the second level. You try to play that Jets defense where the Jets are trying to contain everything and bounce it back inside. Problem was the Cardinals were like, thank you. Okay, you're creating the space that I need to get these traps or to pull or play power football. And there were times where you saw Hankins, mistaken, I thought it was Neville. It was Hankins who would maybe shift last minute, or there was some communication on alignment, and they were firing into Gallon while your nose tackle in a game like this is one gapping like a pass rusher, not one gapping like a run stopper. And it just opened up a wide open gap, and now you're asking Marquise Bell to make a play on a guard at the second level where the running back wide receiver wasn't touched till 6 yards down the field. Didn't get touched at all, actually. Scored a touchdown. So the alignments were awful. Their run fits were awful. And I think they understood that going into halftime, and it got cleaned up a little bit in the second half until that last possession. But it was just, I don't know what to say other than they got out coached in that first half on defense.
Yeah, but hopefully we do better next week. I know you're about to break the Patriots down tomorrow, so I'll call in tomorrow.
Probably won't be no phones tomorrow. Yeah, me and Corey just going to talk. All right, bro.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Yeah, I think that was the name of the game defensively in the first half. I mean, they cleaned it up a whole lot. So it's weird to think. They had the ball for like 10 minutes in the second half. It's crazy. It was nuts. But the first half was so bad. And Dan Quinn talked about how we gave up so many big plays, a lot of them on the ground. They gave up over, I think, 4 runs of over 20 yards. They haven't even done that in the first 2 games combined. And a couple plays over 40. Just terrible fits, being a little cutesy. And the aggression, I think, was too high up. I think there's a difference here of aggression and energy. DQ talked about it. Our energy wasn't there. That didn't look like our defense. And what I mean by that is, look, there's going to be mistakes. Things are going to happen. But you didn't play with that same energy. You were aggressive too much, in a sense, early on. But you didn't play with the same energy. And that energy is supposed to extend for 4 quarters and start in quarter 1. And after, I want to see rallying to the football. I want to see hats on. I want to see that same energy down in, down out. They didn't really have that. The Cardinals did, and they kept them on their toes. Cowboy Mike, what's up?
What's up with you, Skywalker still?
Ain't nothing much.
Hey, man, what's today? Today, Tuesday. When I was coaching, bro, I had this rule that we don't talk about anything the day after the loss. And we don't lose. We always find a common ground in the loss. And yesterday, rewatching the game, I seen a lot of things, man, that I liked, actually, in a lot of younger players.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there was some positives out of it.
Yeah,
sure,
I called a couple. You had a caller talking about Sam Williams. It was funny what he said because I called a few weeks, few weeks ago, and I was talking about Micah and all the little cubs he's got behind him. We have a lot of guys that can go, man. Sure. They just still kind of feeling their way out.
Sure.
Through what they can and what they cannot do, and they're learning. So this loss, it may be the best thing to happen to us all year because we put a tape out there. Everybody's going to try to run the zone read. It's September, man.
I mean, I think that's always been out, right? Like that's kind of been the thing. Like run the RPO against Dallas. Now, does it work for 4 quarters? I mean, if you go back and look at, the Eagles game, a lot of people see that loss there, but they really weren't extremely successful. They scored 26 points, and some of those points was off of just throwing the ball to them, and they're getting the rock back on the 30, 40-yard line. So it might not work all game, but it works in spurts, and if all you need is it to work in spurts and you're not going to score 30 points, that might be all it takes. So yeah, that's out. I'm just saying the blueprint is out on how to attack Dallas. It's up to them to adjust.
Right. And another player that I've seen that I really like because he's got some fight in it. You can tell he really doesn't know what he's doing a little bit just yet, but that Bass guy on the offensive line, he works. He's going to be okay.
Who's that? Oh, Bass?
Bass, yes.
Oh, yeah, Bass will get better. I mean, first game he had to play all game. Gave up 3 pressures. He in the goal line area wasn't the greatest. But when you take the collective,
him climb a lot though.
Yeah, he didn't do good in the red zone. When you take the collective 70, what was it, 70 something? They played a lot of plays the last couple of years. When you take the collective 70 something plays, yeah, again, I think the guys did fine enough between the 20s. I don't think they did good enough in the red zone in the run game. I mean, I'm not going to ignore that. But overall, yeah, Bass is going to be – I think he has a potential to turn into your next Connor Williams, that guy that's kind of your backup utility dude. Yeah, and if you need him to be a starter, he can turn into a starter. So, yeah, Bass he has some upside there. And I thought, again, wasn't the cleanest game. First game ever he started. You're playing 70-something snaps, but there was a lot to like of what he did. I still think he's a phenomenal pass blocker. Although he gave up a lot of pressures, 3 pressures, a lot for the interior, you still saw some of those traits, man.
Right. Yeah, a lot of good things. I found a lot of good things once I calmed down and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to overreact. And then McCarthy. I listened to the McCarthy interview. I'm like, was McCarthy drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too much? I think McCarthy didn't sleep well Saturday night after he found out his 3 offensive linemen.
That's what I said,
out.
Bro. I think he kind of got dazed.
He panicked.
I think he got dazed.
Yeah, he panicked, and let me tell you what he did. Because when I was coaching basketball back a few years ago, I remember this one particular game, my point guard got hurt, like doing something foolish like the night before the game. And I didn't find out till the morning of the game. And I figured, I didn't know what to do. I was like, shit, you know what? I'm going to X all these plays, and we just going to play from inside out. When we had played outside in, because he was the engine that ran our offense. But the other players on my team, they was like, Coach, why did you change everything we do? We don't know how to do these other things. And the other team had the advantage before we even started the game. And I think McCarthy freaked out and started Xing stuff out the playbook. And he, in a way, in his interview, he let us know that. But we got to learn.
I mean,
fans,
he not in a
we
way.
have to learn how to read
he
the
said
TVs.
it.
He
He flat out said, "Hey, we did not have our full playbook." And Tony Pollard also said we didn't run some things. I think there's 2 sides to that, right? There's truth to that. Like there's truth to we cannot run a play with a bunch of guys that didn't practice it. You know, that like there's certain things you just can't do. But then there's some things where you say, I don't think this is that damn difficult to execute. Let me see if they can. You know, that's the thing about NFL. It's so routine. It's so routine. Wednesday practice, Thursday practice, Friday walkthrough, Saturday practice, and we say this all the time in preseason and training camp. This is the time to get all these young guys some opportunities in camp and preseason, because when the regular season gets here, you're not giving them all those starting reps. And I think McCarthy said in his press conference, I could have did a better job preparing these young guys during the week. I was under the thought process, right? Hey, we'll be fine. We'll have Tyler Biadasz. And then Friday comes and there's no Tyler Biadasz. Shit. We just had all practice, all film week, and I didn't get these young guys in here. Okay, Bass, no problem. You had Bass in there. Chuma Edoga, all week you've got Tyron Smith and Tyler Smith playing left tackle. Oh, there's some cool things you can do with those guys throughout the game. Friday comes, Saturday comes, no Chuma Edoga. So he's not practicing at all, right, at left tackle. You're getting, 2 reps maybe? So I think,
yeah, man. My mama raised me. If you ain't got nothing good to say about somebody, don't say nothing at all. So I ain't going to say nothing. I ain't going to say nothing, bro.
Well, I'll say this.
I'm going to keep my positivity going. It's Tuesday. I'm going to keep my positivity.
I hear you, bro. I'll say this. I think McCarthy, what he might have learned in this situation, and probably should have already learned this, Tyron Smith gonna get hurt. So all week, you should be preparing as if that ninja is not going to be available. And I think I think that's something he might be doing moving forward. Because somebody tried to ask him about, hey, well, did you ever think about putting Tyler out there at left tackle? And he said, not for this game, because we didn't know he wasn't going to play until the day of. But for moving forward, this is something we're going to look at. So if I'm just reading between the lines, I think Tyron Smith is going to get. Y'all remember Romo Wednesdays?
Oh yeah, I don't see him making it. Yep.
Remember what I'm saying? You remember when Romo Wednesdays back in the day? For those who were paying attention that close, I mean, you really had to be paying attention. He didn't quite literally he didn't practice Wednesday because he had a back problem
at all.
So he just sat out. And I think you're going to get to a point where Tyron is getting half the reps. Because look, Tyron don't need all the reps in practice.
Hey, let me ask you this: is it possible that we could? Well, no, because he's been working at guard the whole since OTAs. Tyler Smith.
Oh no,
move him back to tackle.
Yes,
possible.
Yes,
and I like Bass at guard.
100% possible. Well, I think if Zach Martin's back in that right guard, yes, it is.
And that goes back see, you got to read the tea leaves because I thought, listen to McCarthy's press conference. He said, "I got to get these guys more reps." That's on me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what
It's
I'm
coming,
saying,
bro.
I this is, again, I said this in the Sky Optics. It's just kind of a weird silver lining in all of this. Very weird. Sometimes you learn things in adversity. And the weird
I'm going to go to Bach. You saving shit for the playoffs.
No. That is funny. That's a funny bit. But it's not about saving anything for the playoffs, right? It's about what did you learn in adversity. And what I learned is, wow, did he overcorrect himself? Did he overreact in this game? Yes. But it didn't necessarily derail him from the chance of winning, at least between the 20s, in my opinion. So it worked in a way, and then there was things that did not work that you can learn from. But his ability to overreact, or it shows me that he will adapt. How many times, over the years, did we say, why are we not adapting to our situation, or why are we not adapting to the opponent? Because that's one of the things that Coach McCarthy said. He said, hey, it's about who you play too. So he adapted to it. So why do I think all of a sudden he's not going to keep adapting? He came out and he said, okay, yes, I might have overreacted. Let me get back to the drawing board and figure out how to make this work. Okay, yeah, I probably didn't prepare these guys as best as I could, knowing that I got injured dudes. Not saying they weren't prepared, but given the adversity that he was given is, hey, before the game, you ain't going to have 3 of your guys. Whoops. I think moving forward, he'll have these guys get reps. You go ahead. You can finish.
Or maybe just making sure that those guys know the other half of that playbook that he edged out.
I don't think it's about not knowing it. So I think we, as fans,
I don't know how that works.
That's what I'm saying. We don't.
I know they got iPads and stuff.
It's not about not knowing the other half of the playbook. So you have a game plan, right? You put together your game plan. It usually starts the week before. You got people in the analytics department working on New England in week 1 and 2. That's just how it is. Monday, if not on the way through the plane, you're reviewing the film of what happened, as well as starting your prep and game plan for the next opponent. Tuesday, we got meetings. We're doing the film meetings. We're putting together the game plan, right? And when you're putting together a game plan, your entire playbook is not technically, hey, this sounds weird. It's available, but you're not ever using your entire playbook on every game.
Right, you're using your game plan.
You're using your game plan. So Tuesday, this is what we want to do.
I feel you.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we are going to practice that. We practice it. So when you get to the game, this is what we're running. Saturday or Friday's a walkthrough. Saturday's a bit of a ramp up. Okay, let's tighten it down. Let's get this out the way. We didn't do this well. Here's what we're doing with this specific player. Then Sunday comes and you're like, oh, I don't have these specific players. They didn't practice these plays. So that's kind of what happens to simplify it for you. It's never the entire playbook we've practiced all week leading into this game. That's not really how it works. It's not Madden.
Right. Okay. Hey, I got 2 things, man, and I'm gonna take them off the air. 2 more things. Sorry.
So you got 6 things.
My bad.
I'm messing with you, bro. Go ahead.
Hunter Lipkey, man, he reminds me of an H-back. He can get skinny in space.
He is a halfback, bro.
We can use him, but he can't block. He hits a stone wall when he's trying to move. He can't move guys back. He's not that good at
Yeah, he's
right
not
now.
going to dig guys out the hole, but I will give him this. I said this Monday. Getting him involved, I think, kind of woke up his physical part of blocking. Now, did he dig a bunch of guys out of the hole? No, he did not do that. Did he move guys? But there were a few plays, though, where you saw Hunter Lipkey be a bit physical at the line of scrimmage, or he did a kind of some combo blocks where he got to the, I want to say linebacker, or might have been helping on one of the defensive ends. Then he got up to the second level and helped seal off the linebacker. So, look, I'm not trying to go back to 1992, but if it takes a play action, dump it off to Hunter Lipkey, 3rd and 1, hand it off, get a first down for him to kind of get going as a blocker, so be it, But this was his best game, I think.
And if you hit him on a swing pass against one-on-one and we need 2 yards or 1 yard, he's going to get it.
Yeah.
He can get it leaning forward on a one-on-one situation.
Hey, Hunter Lipkey's a running back with a fullback's body.
Yep. Hey, all right. My last thing, man. This is about your boy Bot. I signed on the Patreon this morning, man. You guys done took me from probably on the X and O level, I'm in about the 5th grade right now. I got a couple of years to go. But Bosch this morning, man, he had me laughing hard. Tyler Smith, I've never seen this before either. Tyler Smith was blocking the guy, and it was like the guy was just facing a brick wall. And it was like almost like they was playing patty cake. Tyler Smith stood up, and he did not move. And Bosch, yeah.
The Lecky Fotu block. Yeah, man. I love Tyler Smith, man. Tyler Smith is a stud, dude. He's just so goddamn good. And do you remember? I don't know if you were here a couple weeks ago after week 1 and week 2, but mostly week 1, where Tumi Doga kept pulling, right? And he really wasn't getting a lot of movement on the pulls, but he was making contact, and it worked fine. I kept saying, hey, y'all, just imagine when that's Tyler Smith, what's going to happen. Oh, man, the first opportunity he got to pull and meet a guy at the line of scrimmage, he put this dude in the – oh, my goodness, dog. So, yeah, Tyler Smith was phenomenal in his debut. He had to kind of get his legs up under him, but I'm just praying to the football guys. We're able to get hopefully a good chunk of regular season and all of postseason with the starting lineup. We're waiting. We're in week 4, and we don't even know if we're getting it yet. Appreciate you,
and
though,
man, honestly, too, yeah, I appreciate you, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all do, man. Y'all have a nice day.
Salute, man. Cowboy Mike.
There's some Little League football games in the DFW area. I'm down here in San Antonio.
Still on the phone.
I just moved down here from Oklahoma, but them Little League games, man, and I'm sure you got some little ones in your future somewhere down the line.
I mean, yeah.
But Dallas youth football is tough, brother. You'll love it.
I look, shouts out to Little League, shouts out to the parents, shouts out to the young players, shouts out to the coaches. You ain't gonna catch me at no Little League football game, bro. I mean,
you might see a riverboat situation if you go. I'm telling you. Hey,
look, if I ain't got no fam playing in no Little League, I ain't got no boys coaching. You know what I'm saying? My lady ain't the cheerleading coach. My kids ain't playing. My homies' kids ain't playing. Who you here to see? Which one is yours? None of them. Oh, who's coaching? Which one of your friends is coaching? None of them. What the hell are you doing here, sir?
Allen. I don't know how close you are to Allen, but my niece went to Allen High School when Kyler Murray was there, and they did that 43-0. Man, Allen High School,
hey, Cowboy
that football
Mike.
stadium.
I got a show to do, brother, but I appreciate you, big dog.
Yeah, have a nice day, man. I'm sorry about that.
No, you good, brother. You good. We just excited. You gonna call the cops on me. What you doing here at this Little League game? Who your kid? I'm good. Now, depends on the age, I guess. I mean, I guess like the highest level of Little League, sure. But boy, my uncle, shouts out to you, Augie, if you watch. My uncle, hey, Will, come help. Come out, we coach. I said, who you coaching this year? Because he coached a bunch. He coached Little League. And it's when I was back in PA. I was just kind of fresh off of coaching basketball. I was actually thinking about getting into coaching football. I said, what age group you got? This fool said, I got the Smurfs. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all don't know about Little League football, the Smurfs is the worst age group to coach. I give Smurf coaches all the props in the world, brother. Patience you gotta have. Look, when I coached basketball, I knew what I wanted to coach. So I'm not coaching no little Smurfs. I'm coaching high school kids. I don't got the patience for that. So I'm coach high school kid. He told me he was coaching Smurfs. I said, oh, you got that, bro. Holla at me when you get the midgets. I don't know what they're called down here, but holla at me when you get them. I'm not doing that because I'm too good. Look, I can get serious, but y'all know I think watching Smurfs play is hilarious. They so little, they body so tiny. They got these big shoulder pads on. I guess nowadays they smaller. These big old helmets. These dudes can't keep their heads up. You know what I'm saying? You can't really run real plays. You just hoping to survive Smurf football. It's kind of like, what's the song with not the clown show, but when funny things is happening, they got the song playing on in the background. Oh man, I don't got the patience, man. I'm just being straight up real. And I respect all Smurf Little League football coaches. The patience you got to have is real, bro. Like, and y'all do it. And y'all help these young bucks. But not me. Oh boy, I get upset real fast because I'm not trying to teach how to run. You know what I mean? Nah, bro. Did that make me sound like a bad person? Sully said these little motherfuckers don't listen. They don't. They don't. And I don't know. I don't watch Little Tykes. I heard everybody say, "Oh, I watch Little Tykes." Like the way I came up, through coaching was just hard coaching. There wasn't no little love fest, love tap, all gentle. Like it wasn't that. So I don't really know that. Not saying I couldn't adapt to that, but I don't know what they're doing down there. And if they ain't gonna listen, it's gonna take all right. Last one. I'll move on. We in overtime. Last one. Yes, the Benny Hill song. I don't know what they call it. I don't know what they call it down here. It's probably outlaw. But did y'all ever play Bully in the Ring? I can't see them doing that no more. But we would do this drill called Bully in the Ring. And now that I think about it, Bully in the Ring was child abuse. Bro, that was child abuse. They take the whole team. You have this. There you go. So Jay know about it. Bull in the ring, bully in the ring. It all depends. If bull in the ring could be what it's called, bully in the ring if it's somebody acting up. Take the whole team. It's a big circle. You in the middle. Depending how friendly your coaches is trying to be, it could be a big wide circle or it could be a tight circle. And you just head on the swivel. And they calling out a number or they calling out a player's name. You don't know where they at. And they just firing off at you. And it was acceptable. Do they do that anymore? Shit. Coaches were crazy. Heads up, though. That was fun. They still do that? CT said nose was snotty. Yo, I'm telling you, man, the coaches are crazy back then. I don't know about now. I don't know what they're doing now. I'm not going to no Little League game unless I got a family member there, but high school, though, I go to high school. I mean, I actually watch it. Shouts out to Kyle Yeomans. He calls a lot of high school games, and sometimes I'll find it on YouTube TV, or I might be getting a haircut, or I might be out somewhere, and I'm actually watching the high school games. All right, Marv. My bad, Marv. I done kept Marv on the horn for like an hour. What's good, Marv?
What up, man? How you been doing?
I'm good, man. How you?
Oh, I'm good, bro. Just, been watching the shows and disappointed in Dan Quinn, man. That's the worst coaching defense. Made a quarterback look like he all-pro Joe Montana. They was, DBs in torch, linebackers ain't making plays, and that's what it goes to their favoritism. Now you notice every time the Cowboys favoritism, we mess up. Should have kept the same rotation.
So let me, Marv. How do you come to the conclusion of favoritism after one game, right? Like, what is the favoritism you're speaking of?
What I'm saying, you should have number 6. That's my dog. But you should have bring him back slowly. Get him a few plays, get his feet wet. Don't throw him in there.
Marv, this is what I mean by overreacting with fans. It's unreal. Sir, how do you consider the dude that is, in my opinion, I think he's one of the best safeties in the league, but one of your best defenders on the entire defense, you calling it favoritism because they playing him?
No, I'm just saying we should have just brought him back slowly.
That's different. You use the word favoritism. That's not favoritism. That's, my best defensive player is ready to play. He's going to play. Look, Donovan Wilson didn't look like he was hurt out there. Marv, the entire defense played like shit for 30 minutes. You want to bench everybody?
No.
Wanye Thomas wasn't saving you, sir. Marquise Bell wasn't saving you in that first half.
No, it was blocking Marquise Bell. But them guys they got to stop trying to just rush the ball. Play run defense first. Then you eat. Don't try to eat too fast.
No, I agree.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the aggression is too turned up when it comes to getting a pass rusher. But hey, some of that. And look, I know we joking around yesterday. You was basically like Dan Quinn, but I do wonder, like, is some of that mentality Dan? Like, is Dan just all about go head hunt, as opposed to, look, we're going into a game where we know they're gonna run. Let's remain disciplined a little bit.
I'm talking about they was getting. Man, I was watching that film. Them dudes getting knocked on their back, and I'm like,
bro, they had a play. Yeah. Was it LVE? And I'm not trying to pile on LVE, but they had a play. I mean, this was a crazy block. It was one of the tight ends or guards got like in a tandem block with one of the wide receivers or tight ends, right? It was some type of tandem block. I mean, they quite literally dumped LVE on his head. Yeah. And I was just like, yeesh.
I'm like, man, that was horrible. I'm like, what the?
I mean, there wasn't nothing he could really do, but I thought it was funny.
And I'm like, they don't know the plays. Leaving dudes wide. I'm like, what kind of defense is this? I'm like, man, that was the worst. I'm like, these dudes, them guys told me up. See that about work. And like, I told you, Mom, your boys ain't nothing. I said, yeah, you got me this week. I can't say nothing. Yeah. I'm like, unbelievable, man. I got destroyed. Everybody was happy. Now it's going to be copycat. That's copycat. And you're playing a better defense this week. And we'll see what happened again.
Yeah, you're playing you're playing a better defense. You played a better defense in week 2 as well. So you've been here. You've been here before. You got your nose busted up. Now it's about bouncing back, right, Mark?
Yeah. I'm like, I'm talking about Diva 88. Come on, man. You should have had a touchdown, bro. That man threw that ball. Man, that man, Dez Brown would have jumped over that dude head, touchdown. Come on. 88 could do that too. Come on, bro. Making the quarterback look stupid. Dudes ain't running their routes straightly. I'm like, only one playing good is 13. Everybody else just, doo-doo-doo. And I'm not even mad at the offensive line. Some young boys was busting their butt. They still was running over there with that beat-up line. I was still killing them. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
You just let the line down. You let the quarterback down.
I tell you what, man, and I don't talk about the ops too much. That ain't my shtick, right? But I'm watching Philly yesterday, Mar, and I'm just looking at this offensive line. Bro, can we please get our O-line? I feel like our offensive line could do something similar, but my goodness, bro. That offensive line, they was killing Bucks, bro. I mean, the lanes they were creating were ridiculous. The time Jalen Hurts was getting was ridiculous. And I'm just like, can we please get our O-line whole for like 15? Like, I ain't at 10. All right, I won't be greedy. 10. And you can give me 7 in the regular season and 3 in the postseason, right? So just give me like a good 7 to 8 games whole up front, so I can see if we can do some of that. Because I feel good about it, man. I like what I saw from Tyler. Tyron been pass blocking his ass off, and when he has to get out in space, he's been fantastic. Zack is Zack. Tyler Biadasz got his act together after, a little bit. And Terrence is going to be fine. Like, I want to see these guys together. Because watching Philly with their guys together pissed me off, and I got jealous real fast, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what I'm like. Now they got the lead on us. Because we let and somebody said this early in the year. One of my friends said, Ma, a he plays like these sorry team beat us, we want that home field against Philly. And
when we get time.
Man,
when we get time.
And look at Philly.
And
one thing I give Philly credit for still. They might play sorry and still win games.
They have been winning a lot of games in regular season.
And that is dangerous. That is scary, Cowboys fan. Let me say it again. Philadelphia.
All right, look now. Hey, Marv, you're going a bit too far now. We're going a bit too far. All right, we're going a bit too far. We already gave them their flowers. We gave them their flowers. That's enough.
Huh?
You trying to give them the whole garden now. At the end of the day, it's Philly, okay? They winning.
Yeah.
Right.
How did
they
defense play? I didn't see the game.
Man,
How did
they good? They played good. Defense was really good, man.
Well, Cowboy fans,
Marv gonna say, well, Cowboy, like you ain't a Cowboy fan, Marv. Look at Marv. Don't backpedal. Don't do this, Marv. Don't do this,
I ain't backpedaling.
And Marv, you setting it up. Marv, you setting the stage. This is what Marv doing. Marv setting the stage. So if something crazy happened, hey, Cowboy fans, I told y'all about Philly, man. Hey,
No, I ain't saying that. I'm just saying still.
Philly, man.
I'm a Cowboy fan.
Now you get me hype.
I always stay with my team, just like you do. But right now, I'm still disappointed in Dan Quinn.
Yeah,
you ain't saying nobody else. I ain't blaming nobody. I don't care what. I don't want to hear about Dak Prescott. I don't want to hear that. I'm mad at Dan Quinn, bro.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
I'm pissed off at this dude, man. Right now, he's on my S list. I know everybody's gonna try to take up for him. I ain't taking up for Dan Quinn no more, man. Right now, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. I ain't even saying nothing no more. I'm just gonna watch the game and I'm just watch this food. Me and my fraternity brother, he was blaming Dak Prescott. He's blaming the coach. Dak Prescott.
Well, let me tell you something.
And Coach McCarthy, they going off on him. I said, man, Dan Quinn gave up 28 points. Oh, no. I said, man.
Isn't it crazy how that happens? Like we like when we're bad, like it's always we are really bad. We gave up the most rushing yards since 1991 in the first half. How come we always the first sense? It's always the first sense. It's never like, hey, they had a drive or two, right? Or hey, maybe a turnover or two, or hey, it's always some crazy ass stuff that happens, right? We run for 300 yards in the playoff game, most rushing yards in the first half. Like it ain't never just some regular old game when a team is doing well. It's just weird, man. But hey, Marv, I gotta keep it moving, bro. We be talking all day, fam.
All right, fam. I just hope this defense, man, we'll see against New England. Because
I just hope that damn, Marv, you hurt that bad? You hurt that bad? You don't believe this defense?
I don't believe in the defense, Steve.
Oh, shit, Marv.
For real. Still, listen.
Damn,
I am so pissed.
I
hate this shitty defense. They always let us down. It's been going on. They did it with Romo years.
Damn. It took one game.
I know.
Damn.
I lost confidence in the defense coach, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Okay. All right.
All the Cowboys fans, I lost confidence in that sorry ass defense.
Damn.
I don't want to know.
Sorry. Hey,
I call them the shitty boys.
Hey, Miss
right
Sharice,
now, I'm calling them the shitty boys.
I'm pulling my card. I'm pulling my card. I done had enough. All right, Marv, thank you. You've provided me with bulletin board material for the Lion. Miss Sharice, if you're seeing this right now, please show this to Micah. Please show this to Micah.
Show him. Yeah, show him. Because I call them the shitty boys.
Oh, come on, bro. I got to let you go after that one. Love you, Marv.
All right, fair.
Oh, damn. Sorry. He said with your sorry the boys. Yo. Marvy wildin'. I'm clipping this. L, who's in here? Brother L? Clip that. I'm being petty. I'm using a card I never really want to use. Oh, I'm being petty. I have no idea if it's going to reach him. I could probably put it on Twitter. But I want to go straight to the source. Please show him this. so we can get the Jordan meme. I took that personally. This sorry defense from one game. Come on, Marv. You know what's funny about Marv? And we just having fun at this point. Marv will come on here in March and be capping for Catboy. I mean, puts the cape on and be like, I'm Stephen Jones Jr. But after one game is Dan Quinn, y'all ain't you, and definitely after one game, bro. They call my boy Jesse Hiley the voice of reason. It's a great nickname, by the way. Because I like to think I can be that. Right? I mean, I like to think, hey, if you guys want to actually talk this thing through, logically with some context, maybe have a little fun too with it, right? To get through some of these losses or wins. I feel like this is a great show to do that, man. Because we're going to look at everything from top to bottom and speak on it, right? But what we're not going to do here is overreact one way or the other, or try not to at least. Marv said it took one game for this sorry defense. God dang, Marv. All right, bro. I'm done talking about Marv. Super chats.
Super chat.
Dwight Pearson, DP, shouts out to you. Drop 2, said check out the high schools in Houston. I'm here to tell you right now. Probably won't be driving to Houston. If I drive to Houston, it's to go down there to chill with Vach, to be completely honest. And I might do that this week. We'll see. I got some time on my hands.
Super chat.
Sully dropped 5. Sully said, Cowboy Mike, he's like that preacher that will have your stomach growling in church. Boy long-winded. Hashtag boy long-winded. Yeah. I had a stepmom who was crazy about church as a kid, and I used to pretend that I was still asleep and try to get away with not going. Yeah. I used to love football season, though, because I had an excuse. Oh, I got a game. Yeah. I can't go. I got a game. Because when you do go, you missing the first quarter of the first game. It's just happening. Wait a minute. Depending on the church. Depending on the church, you're missing the first game. So, I don't know about y'all church. Anthony Carrier.
Super chat.
He said, if coach, he dropped 5 and said, if coach is calling plays fast, those plays are marked out on his card. Yeah. We call it first 15. Usually you'll get those in pretty fast, pretty quick. Or like you said, they've got an idea what they want. Or not an idea. They know what the hell they want to do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And sometimes they'll if you notice, they'll scratch that. Hey, we don't take that out the game plan. Or they'll circle that. We're going to come back to this. Tobo Ty drop 5.
Super chat.
Fun fact, there are a handful of high school stadiums in DFW. Stadiums in the DFW is where the entire XFL practices during the week in their season. Yeah, I heard about that. In fact, the XFL, I think their home base is in Arlington, and they're turning that former Ranger Stadium into something, I think, to do with them. I think their headquarters is over there. Below the Heavens dropped 2 and said,
Super chat.
13 play drives create more ops for penalties/turnovers. That's the point of playing vision me defense, right? That's the point of playing. We're going to make you matriculate down the field and not give up the deep ball. And they did that successfully in the sense of we're not giving up the deep ball. There wasn't many. Now, you go watch the film. There wasn't a whole lot of, oh, man, wide open for a touchdown deep. Just wasn't there. There was a couple plays where one was, I think it was Hendershot, and the other one was CD Lamb. I think on one of them or both of them, we got in scoring position anyway. But there wasn't a lot of touchdowns to be made. They played that well. But still, I would have liked them to put a little bit more pressure. Again, I say it right here, between the 20s. But it worked. They got into scoring position 6 times. You've got to convert. You've got to convert more than 2 times. We done wiped them 304s. I believe this was
Super chat.
Yeah. Nothing pisses me off more than the lack of effort. 100%. 100%. Marcus dropped one. I think I'm getting to this something yesterday. I forgot to read something yesterday.
Super chat.
Marcus, he dropped one and said, Zeke for 5 average, 80 yards the other day. He did, man. What'd he do the other game? Like that's weird to me, Marcos. Like, I ain't coming here talking about Zeke had 80 yards. The hell that mean to me when Tony Pollard had a $122? Come on, man. Zeke play for the ops. You over here donate money about the ops. All right, that's probably your boy, though. You probably like Twan. Like, that's your guy. You one of those Bron guys. We're going to follow him wherever he go. Give a damn about his 80 yards. He had 185 yards rushing yesterday or on Sunday. Tony Pollard like top 5 rushing. Zeke at 80 yards, man. Appreciate the super chat. I bring it, drop 10. Damn, where you at? Where'd you go?
Super chat.
Got questions, guy. With Diggs out, should we stop the extra safety in the lineup, knowing they will run more against us? With Diggs out, should we stop with the extra safety in the lineup? Oh, big nickel, knowing they will run more against us. I think it's a game plan thing. It really doesn't matter with Diggs out. Even with Diggs in, you're still light, right? I think it's a game plan thing. I would like to see them balance out this man defense single high stuff a little bit more. It's not necessarily so much having the safety now, because we're still going to have our linebackers. Teams running are running base 11 personnel, which requires you to come in nickel anyway. So you're going to have 2 linebackers, right? The difference is in today's NFL, you're able to still do power things out of it. So you're trying to take out one of the safeties. I mean, they just got to play better. They played excellent the first 2 weeks. You got to play better. They played terrible. Again, I don't want to overreact yet. Like, if we get in multiple games, we're in a week 6 and we're talking about the safeties playing poor or defense playing like this, that's a whole different story. But regardless, they're never going to move to a traditional 4-3. I mean, I don't think anybody's really running that anymore, to be honest.
Super chat.
Gavin dropped 2 and says, Sky, maybe we practice too hard. I feel like there's a handful of people I would love to blame the injuries on. I ain't gonna do that though, because then y'all can do the same thing to me. Like, I hate when y'all do that to me. Y'all be like, see, Sky was too confident. That's why we lost. I don't go play. They ain't listening to me. Hey, Skywalker still said we gonna whoop their ass. So let's go out here and just listening to me, man. Don't be like that. So I'm not gonna be like that. I'm not gonna be blaming certain people on these injuries, but Chef called in last week. You practicing too hard. The next thing you know it, Diggs, Biadasz, Tyler, Tyron. You know that meme with a little girl? I think it might be it's not her. Little girl sticking up the middle finger. Yeah, that's me as Chef. Then my guy $100,000 called in. Hey man, you never know. Go out. I was look, my chest was out. What you mean? Diggs is out there, man. Offensive line is coming back. 2 hours later, Diggs out for the season. Tyler Biadasz gone. Tyron Smith gone. What the? What did we do to deserve this, man? It ain't y'all fault. It ain't y'all fault. King Element. I don't even know if I'm in it. Am I in the same day?
Super chat.
Yeah, we in the same day. King Element dropped 5. The red zone play to Cooks where he was out of bounds should have been drawn up for MG, in my opinion. Don't get why they use Cooks for that. Yeah, I'm hoping we start to use Cooks the way I'd like to use Cooks. You know, deep down the field, deep overs, things that we saw in camp. Now, obviously, teams are going to play you in a weird way, right? You got into a game, in back-to-back games, by the way, where you're getting a ton of vision defense. From my just early kind of taking a look at New England, which we'll obviously break down tomorrow with Okoye. In fact, I want to break down their defense. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna go back and look. I don't feel like there's gonna be a whole bunch of umbrella vision me defense in this game. That's not really his MO, but I'm I'm going to go take a look. So things may change now. Now you might see Cooks breaking open downfield or whatever. So I'm ready to see kind of Cooks be used in the way we brought him here to be used. Shaq said, did Chef ever call back? See, shouts out to Chef. He phony. He a typical phony fan. That's all. No. We called Chef. We were blowing his phone up after week 1. And if you don't know why we were doing that, you just got to go and watch. Blowing Chef's phone up. Wasn't answering. Week 2 come. Giants come back and win. All of a sudden, Chef calls in. It's like, oh, well, my son, he had homework to do. My phone wasn't working. I ain't paid the bills. He had all these weird excuses. And he tried to talk about the Giants, right? Well, no, I don't care about the Giants winning. Where's the same energy from when you thought y'all was going to drop 40 on us, right? And then his phone dropped. And we never heard from Chef again until yesterday. He jumped to the chat. Hey, I'm here. Phony fan. One of those fans. Turn my phone off when we lose. Win, lose, or draw, I'm here for it all. I ain't going nowhere. But there's a lot of those type fans, though. And that was the last one. All right. Fun show today. We won in the super overtime. It's 11 o'clock. I'm getting out of here. I got to go eat and then get back into the lab for these Patriots. Please, on your way out, hit the like button. I'll be back on in like 4 hours. Vosh Lombardi live over on the volume. Mo will be on later, talking more Cowboys. A to Z Sports Primetime later tonight. And we should be having Okoye on tomorrow. So Okoye, Wednesdays. I want to talk about this Patriots defense. I do. So I'm going to see if that's the way we're going to go. So y'all know how these weeks go during the season, man. I think they're fun. I think they're jam-packed. They're full of information, and they're full of guests. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So let me get up out of here, man, and press this damn button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
I almost pressed the Okoye button. I do got that Okoye button. Hold on. There it is. Yeah. Okoye Media tomorrow. Joining the show. You do not want to miss this. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. We out of here. Love y'all. Peace.
Bomb Squad!